ever feel like your thoughts have a life of their own? Like they're almost shaping your reality.
Yeah.
We're diving deep into James Allen's As a Man Thinketh to see if that's actually true.
All right.
This book's been a self-help cornerstone for over a century.
Yeah.
And we've got excerpts from an annotated and illustrated ebook version.
Okay.
Ready to unpack its wisdom?
It's amazing how a book from 1903 still resonates today. Shows you how timeless this whole idea is.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are the architects of our lives.
Right from the title, it grabs you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Yeah.
But is it really that simple? Like, if I think I'm going to win the lottery,
Okay.
will a winning ticket magically appear?
Not quite. Not quite. It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Allen compares thoughts to seeds.
Okay.
What you plant in your mind is what grows. Plant negativity and self-doubt. Get ready for a whole crop of weeds choking your potential.
So instead of daydreaming about winning, I need to be cultivating thoughts like, I'm disciplined, I learn new skills, I make smart financial choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's you tending your mental garden, creating fertile ground for the success you want to see.
Okay.
Allen even says, and this is a quote, a particular train of thought persisted in cannot fail to produce its results on the character and circumstances. He emphasizes persistence. It's about consistently cultivating those empowering thoughts.
Okay, so it's like training for a marathon.
Yeah.
Not wishing for a teleportation device.
Right.
But what about when life throws those curveballs? We've all had moments where it's like, wait, I didn't attract this mess.
That's where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
Allen argues our external reality mirrors our internal state. He doesn't mean every single event is our fault.
Right.
But that there's a deeper connection than we realize.
So someone struggling financially might not be a bad person.
Right.
Just working through some deep-rooted beliefs about money.
Exactly.
Maybe even subconsciously.
Exactly. It's like seeing the tip of an iceberg. Think of someone like Ebenezer Scrooge. His financial success stemmed from a place of fear and lack, which ultimately manifested as loneliness and misery.
Wow.
It's about recognizing that our outer world is a complex tapestry woven from the threads of our thoughts, good and bad.
Okay, so less judging, more understanding that there are layers to everyone's story.
Yeah.
But how do we apply that to ourselves?
By asking, am I attracting or repelling what I want?
Okay.
If you're constantly thinking, I'll never find love, you might be overlooking potential partners or sabotaging relationships without realizing it.
It's like our thoughts create this invisible force field, either pulling things in or pushing them away.
Exactly. Allen puts it plainly. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. It's about aligning your inner self with your desired outer reality.
And that alignment is what, As a Man Thinketh, encourages us to discover. It's not just some self-help platitude. It's about becoming conscious creators of our lives. Now, Allen doesn't just stop at thoughts shaping our circumstances.
Right.
He takes it a step further with the mind-body connection, which is a whole other layer of fascinating.
And this is where his insights become even more relevant today. He talks about how negative thoughts can manifest as physical ailments.
Oh, wow.
Like predating modern research on stress and its impact on the body.
It's like he had this intuitive understanding of what we're now proving scientifically, but he didn't have, fancy brain scans and stress hormone studies to back it up.
Exactly. He talks about how fear can literally make us ill, even comparing thoughts of fear to bullets.
Wow.
Now, before you think, wait, can I actually think myself sick? Let's dig into what Allen was really getting at.
Yeah, because while our thoughts are powerful, I'm not sure I can give them that much credit.
Right. It's not about taking everything literally. It's about recognizing the power of our thoughts to impact our physical state. We know today, for instance, that chronic anxiety weakens the immune system, making us more susceptible to illness.
So maybe it's not as dramatic as a bullet.
Right.
But those negative thoughts can chip away at our well-being over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Allen doesn't leave us hanging with doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
He offers solutions too.
He does.
Like the mind as a garden concept.
Absolutely. He emphasizes cultivating a positive mindset using techniques like affirmations and visualizations. He even shares an anecdote about a 96-year-old woman with a face bright as young girls, thanks to her sweet and sunny disposition. Now, we're not saying positive thinking will magically turn back the clock.
Right, we're not promising eternal youth here.
But it illustrates the idea that our inner world is reflected in our outer appearance. And this isn't about slapping on a fake smile. It's about consciously choosing thoughts that nourish our minds and, in turn, our bodies.
So it's an inside-out approach to well-being. But what about those times when positive thinking feels impossible? Like when you're dealing with real hardship or loss?
That's a great question, and it's where the nuance of Alan's message is so important.
Mhm.
He's not advocating for toxic positivity or denying the reality of suffering.
Right.
He acknowledges that life throws curveballs. It's more about how we respond.
Okay.
Imagine two people facing the same obstacle.
Okay, let me guess. One spirals into negativity. The other one uses it as fuel.
You got it. And that's not to say it's easy, but it's about cultivating that inner resilience. You know, it's like building muscle. You don't bench press your max weight on day one.
You start with what you can handle and gradually build it. So with our thoughts, we're essentially strengthening that positive thinking muscle to handle life's, heavier weights.
Precisely. Now remember that 96-year-old woman with the youthful glow. Alan doesn't just mention her in passing. He attributes her vibrancy to a lifetime of choosing joy, gratitude, and a sunny disposition.
So it's not about some superficial happiness mask.
No.
It's about years of cultivating a certain internal landscape.
Yeah.
Do you think he's saying our thoughts literally impact our cells aging? Or is it more about the energy we radiate outwards, affecting how people perceive us?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
While we now know stress impacts us physically, Alan's point is more about the connection between our inner and outer worlds.
Okay.
A person consumed by bitterness might literally furrow their brow more often, leading to wrinkles over time. Someone filled with joy might genuinely smile more, leading to a more youthful appearance.
So it's less about magic, more about the cumulative effect of our choices. I'm picturing someone who's constantly stressed and hunched over. Their posture alone ages them.
Exactly. And on the flip side, someone who practices gratitude and mindfulness might carry themselves with more lightness and energy, which can be perceived as youthfulness.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how Alan intuitively grasped this mind-body link that we're still unpacking today.
It really makes you wonder what else he was onto all those years ago.
I know, right?
But as a man thinketh isn't just about feeling good. It's also about having a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Right? What are we cultivating this awesome mental garden for?
You hit the nail on the head. Alan was adamant that a life without purpose is like a ship adrift.
Wow.
He even uses the word drifting to describe those who lack direction, emphasizing the importance of a centralizing point for our thoughts.
Otherwise, we're just tossed around by every worry and whim that pops up.
Okay.
But finding your life's grand purpose can feel daunting.
Yeah.
Any advice for those of us still searching?
Alan's brilliance is in his practicality.
Okay.
He says even if you haven't found your North Star yet, focus on the task in front of you, no matter how small.
Okay.
Mastering that presentation, nailing that recipe, it's all training ground.
So it's about building that mental discipline.
Yeah.
Proving to ourselves we can follow through.
Exactly. Like those small wins build momentum.
Right.
It's not about diminishing those smaller goals.
Right.
Who's to say that incredible cake you baked doesn't lead to discovering a passion for pastry and eventually opening your own bakery?
It's true. Sometimes our purpose reveals itself in the doing.
Right.
But what about when those inevitable setbacks hit?
Alan acknowledges those are part of the journey. He says even if we don't initially achieve our goals, the strength of character gained will be the measure of our true success. It's like you didn't just fail, you leveled up your resilience skill.
So it's about reframing failure as data.
Yeah.
You tried, it didn't work out. Now what did you learn?
Right.
To apply to your next attempt.
Exactly. And this ties back to conquering doubt and fear.
Okay.
He calls them the great enemies of knowledge, holding us back.
Wow.
He has this fantastic quote, "He who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure."
So powerful. It's like once you've stared down your inner demons, everything else is just logistics.
Right. And he takes it a step further, saying, thought allied fearlessly to purpose becomes creative force. It's like this potent cocktail. You've got the vision,
Right.
the drive, and now you've kicked fear to the curb. What's stopping you?
Not much if you think about it that way.
Right.
But it's easy to get overwhelmed by the doing part.
And that's where Alan's next point comes in, the power of visions and ideals.
The dream big part of the equation. I'm intrigued. All right, let's talk about dreams.
Okay.
We've covered the power of thought, the mind-body connection, the importance of purpose.
Right.
Now where do visions and ideals fit into all of this?
This is where Alan's message gets like truly inspiring. He says the dreamers are the saviors of the world.
Wow.
He's talking about those who dare to envision a better future, the ones who drive progress.
It's a powerful reminder that every invention, every social movement, every work of art, it all started as someone's dream.
Exactly. And Alan highlights figures like Columbus, Copernicus, Buddha, individuals who had these grand visions, these seemingly impossible dreams, but because they held on to those visions, they were able to achieve what others thought unthinkable.
It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
Our beliefs about what's possible can either limit us or set us free.
Precisely. And Alan goes like beyond just having a dream. He talks about cherishing it, nurturing it, letting it take root in our hearts and minds. He even uses the analogy of a seed again.
Okay.
Just like a seed needs fertile ground and nourishment to grow, our dreams need our attention and energy to flourish.
So how do we cultivate those dreams?
Okay.
Is it vision boards and affirmations, or is there something deeper he's getting at?
It's more about aligning our actions with our aspirations.
Okay.
He says, to desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. He tells a story about a young man stuck in a dead-end job, yearning for a better life. Instead of like letting his circumstances define him, he uses his aspirations as fuel, educating himself, developing his talents, and eventually rising above his circumstances.
It's like he embodied that growth mindset before it even had a name.
I know, right?
He didn't just wish for a different life.
Yeah.
He took consistent action towards it.
Exactly. He saw those dreams as a roadmap, not a fantasy.
Right.
And that's a key takeaway from As a Man Thinketh.
Okay.
It's not about some mystical law of attraction where you just, you think happy thoughts and wait for good things to happen. It's about understanding that our thoughts have the power to shape our reality through our actions.
So it's the effort, the dedication, the consistent showing up.
Yes.
That bridges the gap between dreaming and achieving.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this is where Alan challenges this notion of luck or chance. He says, in all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results. And the strength of the effort is the measure of the result.
Basically, luck is often just preparation meeting opportunity.
Right.
We see someone's success and think they're lucky.
Yeah.
But we don't see the years of hard work and dedication that led to that moment.
It's so easy to overlook the effort behind the achievement, especially in our highlight reel culture.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into As a Man Thinketh, it's clear this book is more than just a century-old self-help classic.
Right.
It's a blueprint for becoming conscious creators of our own lives.
It reminds us that we're not just passive bystanders.
Right.
We have the power to choose our thoughts, cultivate our mindsets, and ultimately shape our reality through focused action.
And that's incredibly empowering.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you truly embrace the idea that your thoughts, coupled with consistent action, create your reality, what changes would you make starting today? What dreams would you dare to cultivate? That's something to ponder as we resurface from this deep dive.